My love for surfing is like, I have so much love for surfing. And I don't know if I ever would have had as much love for any other sport enough to keep going through all of my struggles. You know, every single time I was in the hospital, it was just another time like, am I ever gonna live a normal life again? My name is Katelyn Sewell. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently a student at Flagler College, and I am a semi-professional surfer. I've been surfing since I was 8 years old, so for about 12 years. I mean, if it wasn't for my dad, I would never have surfed. He decided that it was something he really wanted to teach me. The first time I actually went surfing, I hated it. I was terrified of the ocean and the boards and everything, but about a week later, I told him that was what I wanted to do. It really just brings me a lot of joy. If I'm ever feeling down or stressed out, surfing is something I can always come back to, and I feel like it's just important for me and anyone else out there that surfs to just remember that it is a really awesome sport and just to always have fun with it and never let it get too stressful or anything. I'm really grateful that surfing is in my life. There are some days where like I don't even want to go outside, but it's surfing that brings me out of any kind of emotions I have. It always makes me happy. It's a way to keep me active. It's honestly the only sport I do. And it's brought me to so many people that I've met in my life that I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for surfing, and it really does help my mental health and keeps me, honestly, a very happy person. I surf for Salt Life, I'm sure you've heard of it, and I also surf for Hyperflex, which is a wetsuit company, and I surf for Aussie Island, which is a surf shop in my hometown in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I'm actually about to surf for Action Surfboards. They're from Cape Canaveral, Florida, and he also lives in Wilmington, North Carolina part of his time, and I'm really excited about that. The first competition I had ever done was the Wahine Classic in Wrightsville Beach, and I went on to do that for probably about 6 more years, eventually winning like Open Women's and placing in Pro. I also did a WSL Junior competition in the Barbados, which was really awesome, and I got to the semifinals in that, which was really cool for me, and the waves were really big. It was definitely a really good experience. I've done ESA, which is Eastern Surfing Association, which is all up and down the East Coast, and I've won a lot of those contests. And I also did USA Surfing and got all the way to the Nationals in California when I was a teenager, along with NSSA as a teenager and a child-ish, and then I now compete in NSSA for Flagler College. I was 14 years old. I went surfing with my dad in February. And at that point, like, I was a pretty experienced surfer. I could always paddle out. I was much faster than my dad even usually, but I couldn't make it out. And it was something super weird to me. I was really shocked, and my dad was like, oh, you need to eat healthier, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at my mom when I got home and I was like, I need to go to urgent care. And as soon as I got to urgent care, they were like, you need to go straight to the ER. So then we found out that I was super anemic and I needed blood transfusions. So I was in the hospital for 4 days, and I got some blood transfusions, felt a little bit better. Then in March of that year, the end of March, I went to Hawaii with the ESA All-Stars. A week after that, admitted right back into the hospital for the exact same issue. And that was just all the beginning of it, and it was just so confusing and so scary because we had no idea what it was or what it was coming from, and we were seeing doctors that had no idea, and I wasn't able to surf as much as I could or like as well as I could, and it was just a really hard era because it was just so many like unknowns. It's called intestinal lymphangiectasia, so it made me extremely tired and fatigued. Towards the summer between 11th and 12th grade, I started noticing kind of rapid weight gain, and I just wasn't feeling well, and eventually after months of just having so much water weight on me and having no idea what was going on, I was eventually like, Mom, I need to go to the ER, like I'm not okay. It actually turned out that I had blood clots in the brain, and they didn't think I was gonna make it. I remember the exact moment that I was out of the ICU, I was in the hospital at UNC, and my mom was sitting down with me, and she was like, she just told me, she said that my doctor came out to her and my dad with tissues. She was just like, your daughter may not make it, like be prepared, like call people that want to say bye to her to say goodbye. And she told me that, and I just had no idea, that was a thing, but after I heard that, I was like, you know, nothing in life is forever, like nothing in life is promised. And so even the little things, like I'm able to drive a car, like there's so many things that could have just been taken away from me, and it just made me appreciate my family more, my friends more, everything that I can do, everything that I have, and just every little moment. Like even like eating dinner or something, like I'm just so appreciative of everything because it's something normal I can do now that I wasn't able to do and I almost wasn't able to do forever. Like halfway through my freshman year of college, I was seeing Dr. Eric Sandler at the New Moors in Jacksonville, Florida. I was going up at least once weekly to get like albumin infusions, which is like for my protein. That's why I had so much water weight, was because I couldn't hold protein, I was losing it. And so I was getting like albumin at least once a week. I was getting iron like every other week, blood every other week. Like I couldn't surf. It was just really tough for me. So eventually, Dr. Eric Sandler tells me one day that there's people at New Moors in Delaware, like really focused on lymphatic abnormalities and malformations and like people with intestinal lymphangiectasia. It was the first time I finally felt seen. Like they knew what was wrong with me. They knew how to treat me. They understood everything I talked about. They understood every single concern that my mom and my dad had, and they felt seen, which was really, really meaningful. And so I got a surgery. It was quite painful. It took me out for quite a while. But after that, I was fine for a while. I was fine for a month. I was surfing like normal. I was competing. I was doing regionals. It was awesome. And then all of a sudden, I had my swelling. It came back. In May of that same year, I had another surgery. Took me out for a while. After that, oh my gosh, like I was super healthy. I was doing all the things. I was surfing all the time, not getting tired, not giving myself shots. Like I was just so happy. And then in July this year, here I go again, second time in El Salvador, was surfing, super tired, went home, had to be hospitalized. And it's back again. Just super upsetting and frustrating just because I thought I was fine, and I was fine for so long, and finally I wasn't again. And it just seems like this is going to be a battle for the rest of my life. It is going to be for the rest of my life. There's a lot of things I can't do because of it, and I won't be able to do in future life. And when I feel good, it's something that just reminds me that I still am a normal person, and despite like my health struggles, I know that like I can still always surf, and that's something special that I'll have for myself, and I can always come back to it. Even if I can just go to the ocean in general and swim or just paddle out on my surfboard or float there, whatever it is, like it does give me a sense of normalcy, and that's something that allows me to connect with people. I think that if I didn't have surfing and I still had this chronic illness, I don't know what would bring me like normalcy or happiness. In the water, I feel like that's the last thing on anyone's mind, and I can just be seen as a talented surfer and not someone struggling with a chronic illness. So I'm so grateful for surfing.